Welcome. So welcome everybody to our second webinar in the Women-Owned Logo series. The first one we had on July 8th, and it was more about how to use the Women-Owned logo, some tactics and things like that. If you have any questions about that, I'm going to show you where you can find that if you weren't able to attend. If you go to youtube.com /WEConnection, you can, or type in this into your browser, you'll be able to, and I will actually put that in the chat window so you have it. You'll be able to see the first webinar about how to use the Women-Owned logo, why the corporations use it. And this week, what I wanted to do was actually have some WBEs who are using the logo talk about how it's worked for them and some tips and strategies that they've used, so why that might be important. So as I mentioned, let me just put this in the chat window so you can go to that after this is over if you didn't get a chance to catch it last time. And for now, I'm going to turn the presenting over to Kristy Cook from TeachMy. She's the president and CEO of TeachMy. She has a great story, which I will let her tell you. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Kristy.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me and everything?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I am the CEO of TeachMy, and we basically design, manufacture, and sell award-winning learning kits for babies, toddlers, and preschoolers to mass market retailers. So our main customers are Walmart, Toys R Us, and then Amazon and Target.com, Walmart.com, that sort of thing. The backstory for TeachMy, I started the company 8 years ago, but last February, I guess it was February 2014, I met with a Walmart buyer at a trade show, and we started a conversation, and basically he suggested that we become a women-owned business, and we start using the women-owned logo on the product so that we could be on the shelves of Walmart. So we got certified by WEConnect International and immediately started to do the research on why and how to use the women-owned logo. So from my point of view, the reason why I chose to use the women-owned logo was that, number one, it differentiates my product from the competition. We don't actually have any direct competition because our kits are sort of screen-free. They're not really competing against Leapfrog or VTech, but we still think it's a really good thing to be on the shelf and have the logo because I believe that my product is mostly purchased by women and moms. And so when they see the women-owned logo, they definitely think, oh, okay, that's designed by someone who would have the same wants and needs as me. So it just lets the women or the female customer know that I sort of designed it with them in mind. And the other reason I wanted to do it, also that Walmart wanted us to do it, but just to be part of a big initiative that will really help my product and will raise awareness and exposure for our product and our brand. Now, I know this was covered off a bit last week in the webinar, but I'll just reiterate what's sort of important about how to use the logo because they're quite strict about the style guide. So, you can basically put your logo directly onto your product in a number of different ways, and it really is product specific. So, ours was so simple because it's a box, and we just needed to have it front and center on the box. But I guess if you have clothing, it's a hang tag, and if you have produce, that's a whole other thing that you can use a sticker. The best place to find it is at the WeBank link where it has logo and brand guidelines, and there's a style guide that shows the different sizes that you should use, the background, all of that. And basically, the other thing is that we use the women-owned logo for our Walmart kits, but we also have it on our kits that are sold to Toys R Us and Amazon and hopefully Target over the next few months. So I know that's a big question because Walmart has very much embraced the women-owned logo, but I still think it cannot hurt to have it on your product in all the other places as well. And they don't seem to mind. Toys R Us was happy enough for us to use it. I think you won't find that there'll be any problem using it with other retailers. And basically, the nice thing is that the women-owned logo has their own website, and it's called womenownedlogo.com. And once you sort of are certified and you start using the logo, you should definitely get your story to them, and they will feature you on their website. And here in my slides is the link to the website, and you can get more information about the logo, and you can read other women-owned stories. So this is just an example of how we're using the logo on our packaging. It's on our kit, basically front and center, and I'm really, really proud of using the logo. So I wanted it as big and as visible as possible. I think anything that helps us differentiate ourselves is important. So, I essentially went just straight to the style guidelines, and we had our designer incorporate it into our packaging for our 3 kits. Now, Walmart has just done some preliminary research that showed that when a Walmart store promoted the women-owned logo, the sales of the women-owned products were higher in those stores than the stores that did not promote the logo. So they have many more months ahead of them to do research about how it's working, but that was some preliminary research that shows that the logo is pretty powerful. And here's just a shot of our products on the Walmart shelves. You can sort of see the women-owned logo on the left side of the kit. And lastly, just the recommendations. Number 1, I would say get certified so that you can use the women-owned logo. And 100% use the women-owned logo wherever you can. I mean, we use it on our packaging, business cards, website, any advertising, always on my signature, at the bottom on an email, on all sales materials. My view is, why not be part of one of the biggest women initiatives in the years going forward. And that's it, really. I'm happy to answer any questions if there is a Q&A.
Great. Yeah, I think so. As I mentioned, the participants are on mute to cut down on background noise.
Right.
But in the chat window at the bottom right, if you have any questions, definitely type them in. In the meantime, I have a couple of questions. Kristy, I think you did a great job of showing us, okay, so I met Walmart, and then they wanted me to do this, and then I realized what a great thing it was.
Right.
So I think that was great. Can you give us a little more background about your meeting, the person from Walmart, and how those interactions went? Where did you meet them? How did they become interested in your product?
Okay, so I met with the toy buyer at Toy Fair. Well, I actually didn't meet him. The real story goes that I reached out to him before the trade show, and he promised to stop by the booth, which, as everyone knows in business, that sometimes doesn't always happen. And in this case, it didn't happen. He didn't stop by, but I didn't let that affect me. I basically reached out to him a week later and just said, I'm really sorry you didn't make it. And he came back and said he actually didn't make it to the trade show, that he had family commitments and an issue, so he didn't make it. But you know what, the conversation got rolling, and he asked to see samples, and at that point he said to me, I also need to know, are you a women-owned business? And at that point I wasn't, so I said, well, I'm going to figure out exactly how to become a women-owned business, and Walmart actually directed me right to WEConnect International, and it was the Walmart Empowerment team directed me. So I just started the conversation and the research with WeConnect International and to get certified, and then realized that the women-owned logo was all part of the process, and so started to, do the research on how to use the women-owned logo, and wanted to get it on my packaging immediately so that when the product launched this past February, that it would be on the shelves of Walmart with the women-owned logo on the packaging.
Great. So there's so many things that I love about that story. And I think some of the key ones for people to know, and this isn't about the logo itself, but just in terms of leveraging the network, you know, one of the things Kristy did, and this is before she got certified, but when she was going to a trade show or had an opportunity to meet someone, she reached out in advance, and then even though he didn't end up coming by her booth, she followed up. And I think those are key things that as you look to promote the logo, promote your certification, which is really what the logo is all about, right? Promoting your status as a woman-owned company, selling your products or services. I think those are such key things to keep in mind, because it was just a fluke. I mean, he didn't stop by for any reason, you know, he wasn't there. So I think that following up and keeping your eye on the prize in terms of the strategy, which is that, okay, he didn't come by the booth. What's my next step? What's my next step after that? He said, are you woman-owned certified? And she wasn't. But she said, okay, what does this mean? How do I do that? And then pursued that. So at every step of the way where the client had a need, whether it was for follow-up or certification, Kristy was there to fill that need. So I think that's just a great story for that reason. So I'm glad you told it, Kristy. Thank you.
No problem.
Great. So I want to turn it over to Kristin MacMillan, who's the president of Imprint Plus. She's actually in the system as Mona Law, because we had some technical problems this morning, but we overcame them, and so she's going to be able to present to you today about Imprint Plus and their company. So go ahead, Kristin.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Liz, for the technical assistance earlier. So I'm just going to give a little background story to who Imprint Plus is, what our products are, and how we've been able to leverage WeConnect, and most recently the women-owned logo. Okay, so
there we go.
Do you have Liz, do you have my slide deck?
Yep. Do you see it up there?
No, I'm still seeing Kristy's.
Okay, hold on. Let me move it.
Beautiful, it's there.
Great.
We know the presenter?
Yeah, and you should be the presenter
okay.
now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we are.
Great.
Okay. Imprint Plus manufactures and distributes reusable, do-it-yourself name badges and signage systems. We have over 35,000 customers in 67 countries. And we grew this business by selling to end users such as Macy's, Lord & Taylor, and Marriott, eventually developing business in 22 industries. Here you can see a selection of, can you advance one more? Here you can see a selection of our name badge products that we sell to those 35,000 customers, and also our reusable signage products. These are standing signage, desk and door plates. These are more recent products that we've developed, and they are underscoring and supporting our name badge business. So we were an established business in the business-to-business world, selling a great line of products of name badges and signage. But we were not happy. We wanted to grow faster. So 4 years ago, we decided that the best strategy for us to grow was to do that by selling through reseller distribution. Part of that strategy was to develop new brands, and the Mighty Badge and Yoo-Hoo brands were born. We then had to develop packaging that would be effective in retail sales, online sales, and dealer sales. And I'm happy to tell you that today we have over 500 resellers, including Staples.com and OfficeDepot.com. Right now, we are in the middle of redesigning our packaging. So that's where the women-owned logo comes in. Key filters for us in design are innovation, quality, and environmentally friendly materials. We are also very strong supporters and mentors to other women-owned businesses. The women-owned logo fits with all of that. Women-owned businesses are perceived as high quality, and that is why we are incorporating the logo into our new packaging design. It's being created now, so that's why I don't have anything to show you. But it is coming soon. I'm told by the fall we'll have our new packaging designs ready to go. The women-owned logo is also embraced by Walmart, which is a key target for our company. So when we were in WeBank, we had a meeting with Walmart, and I was happy to talk to them about the use of that logo at that time. We want the logo to be noticeable on our product, but we don't want it to be the focus of the packaging, which is really going to be the product. So those are the criteria that we've given our designer, as well as the style guide. And the many products we saw at the WeBank, the women-owned booth at WeBank that we saw in Austin, gave us a lot of great ideas and inspiration. We've had a lot of success at the WeBank conference over the past few years. There's two levels of success for us. The first is we get a high-level access to senior people at our existing customers, such as Macy's, that we would not normally get. We don't normally get to deal with senior VPs. And in the prospect area, we get access to people in the prospect organizations who help us identify and get to the right people to talk about our product. We found that to deal with the overwhelming amounts of information and opportunity is to really force ourselves at the conclusion of the conference to sit down and just make a very simple list of all the things that we found out and all the things that we can do. So we did that this year. And one of those things was to expand the women-owned logo application in our business to not just packaging, but to marketing collateral, online displays, etc., which we hadn't really thought about doing before. We also had a one-on-one meeting with Walmart when we were there, and being able to talk about the women-owned logo was an asset. So that's where we are in our journey with the women-owned logo, and we're really hopeful that it's going to add to all of the other things that we've done in the WeBank and WEConnect International world. So that's our story.
Great, Kristen, thank you. And I do have a question from one of the participants, but before I get to that, I just want to follow up with you on, so you mentioned that some of the things in your packaging that you're looking for is innovation and environmental sustainability. So can you talk about that? I know sometimes adding things, that the idea is not more packaging, but just better design packaging. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. When we first did our packaging design 4 years ago, we just wanted to tell a big story and get people to understand about our product. We were going from a strictly business-to-business company to selling through resellers and selling online. It was a whole new world to us. So we put a lot of detail and a lot of bells and whistles into our packaging. We have an embossed area. We have a lot of information. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of, how would I describe it, things that are there that I don't think are necessarily required to tell the story of our product. I think now we want to focus on just the product and make sure that the packaging is made of either recyclable or recycled materials, make sure that the footprint of the packaging is as small as possible, which has led us to redesign some of our actual components to make sure that when we package it, it's not going to require a big box. So that's where we've gotten to on the packaging side. And on the innovation, we're constantly trying to develop products that are easier for customers to use, more intuitive. And we've come up with with our insert sheet, which is one of the key components of our product. is much more easy to use in the last, I'd say, 4 to 5 years because of the way that we've developed and engineered it. So all of those things come together, and as I said, when people think about the women-owned logo, they think of a high-quality product, and that's really what we're trying to convey to our customers. It's a high-quality product. We're really trying to have no environmental impact, and we're trying to make the experience of using our product as elegant as possible.
Great. Thank you so much. So our question from one of our participants is, this is a lot about the product as the logo is. Primarily, the logo was designed to help products move off the shelves, which it sounds like, based on Walmart's preliminary research, it is accomplishing. But I have a question from a service-based industry, which is how to use it as a service-based company. And Kristy, you mentioned that you use it on your website, on your advertising. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's something that would apply to a service-based company as well as a product-based company.
Sure, yeah. I think that you should look across your company and think about all the places that it would make sense to use the logo. I mean, so starting from, your email signature, have the logo there. So that any kind of correspondence with anybody, even if you're in the service business, would be seeing that you're a women-owned company. But yeah, definitely business cards. We just have a nice little tiny logo on the business card, but it's still nice. It's obvious. And we have brochures and anything that really is going to go to your service customer, just to let them know that you are women-owned. My background is public relations, actually, before I got into this business. So, I just see the value of image and how every little bit will help your image in front of your customer, whether it's service or product. So, yeah, just look across your company and look for all of the opportunities that you can for where that women-owned logo would work.
Great. That's an excellent point. And so while the last webinar, the webinar we did, which you can find on our YouTube channel, does talk a little bit about how to use it and where exactly you can put it, I think that's a great point, which is that it's really a PR, it's an opportunity for you. So it should be seen as that. Where would you want to put it? Why not put it somewhere that it might prompt a question or a conversation? That's great. So keep sending your questions in. If any of the participants have questions, just write them in the chat window and I will get to those. In the meantime, Kristen, I know that you mentioned the WBEs conference and that you had a meeting with Walmart while you were there, which is great, and that both of you are using it for your overall packaging, not just one client. But can you tell me a little bit about the women-owned, Kristen, your experience at the women-owned booth? And what that was like and what other kind of products and stuff you saw and what the value was there at the WBEs conference in Austin this year?
Yes, I can tell you that we spent a fair bit of time there. I was really curious to see how people were using the logo on their packaging because we're still trying to figure that out exactly. And I was very amazed to see just the variety and different types of products that are using the women-owned logo. I think it really differentiates packaging when you can see that logo sort of popping out on the. Most people use it quite discreetly, but it still really pops out when you look at the packaging. So I thought that was a great thing, and as I said earlier, we were inspired by what we saw there and took back some ideas to use in our own design.
Great.
Liz, could I just add something?
Please.
Because you're talking about the Austin conference. Just also for anyone that happens to be on that might be Canadian or isn't Canadian and wants to come to the Canada conference in Toronto, the WEConnect International conference in Toronto in November, the 12th and 13th. Walmart will be there, so that's really great. And also, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of opportunities to find out about the women-owned logo, how to use it, they'll probably set up something where they can see it on products, I would guess. So just a little plug for the conference.
Great. Thank you so much. You're doing, as usual, doing our job for us. That's great.
Okay.
And actually, I'll put a link in the chat window, too, to the Canada conference for people that are interested in that. So just you can look at our website and find more information about the conference. That's a great point. Not everybody is always able to travel to the U.S. At that time of year, but WEConnect also has programs and events where you can connect with different buyers and decision makers. So, and the Canada conference is one of those, so thank you.
Thanks.
And I want to just piggyback on something that Kristen said about the logo, that even when it's small, it does stand out. One of the, in developing the logo itself, that was one of the key elements that we wanted to make sure that was included, that you could just look at it and see what it means. So there was also a lot of discussion about, well, should it be text or should it just be an image so it translates globally? And so what we're doing now is the logo has actually been translated into French and Spanish and Chinese, so that's also available either as companies over there are selling to the U.S. market, or because this is a global initiative, the idea that selling to markets in France or China or in Spanish-speaking countries, that you'll be able to use that logo as well. So it does really stand out, and the idea is that this is something not only for you to use in leveraging your WEConnect certification, but also in helping you to sell your products. We mentioned that Walmart saw higher sales in stores that were promoting the logo, and that's just preliminary research, but that's really the idea, is that we want to help women-owned businesses sell your products and services to people who want to buy them. So are there any other questions before I look to our speakers for any final remarks and recommendations? If there are, just put them in the chat window. But Kristy, you made some recommendations, but do you have anything final to wrap up, or anything that you want to share?
Really, I feel like I've covered it, but I do just think everyone should get certified so they can use the logo. And as I just reiterate, just, definitely look across your company and see all of the opportunities to use it, because it's just going to differentiate you from everyone else. So why not? It's a nice little PR move, I would say.
Great. And Kristen, anything to add?
I would underscore what Kristy said. I think it's a great way to differentiate your product. For us, it's also a great way to sort of strengthen and deepen our core foundations of who our company is. It really speaks to promoting women-owned businesses, and that's something we take very seriously. So it really ties into all of our core filters in how we run our business and how we interact in the business community. So I would encourage everyone to, if they're eligible, to register and use the logo.
Great. Well, I want to thank you so much. We had a small group on the webinar today, but as I mentioned, we will be recording this. We had a lot more people signed up, so I'll be sending the recording both to the people who signed up today and to the people who signed up last week, so they will get the benefit of this information. And then this video will also live on our YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. So thanks to our panelists for sharing your expertise. Our next webinar is going to be on our Module 1, one of our training modules about learning and understanding your business. It's on August 12th, so I hope everybody can join us for that. And in the meantime, please follow us on our social media handles, our Twitter and our Facebook, for up-to-date information about how people are using the Women-Owned logo and leveraging their certification. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.